Welcome to episode 4 of Frame Your Game in Paradise. Today we're standing here on lovely number 15 at Paradise Canyon. And today Ethan and I are going to educate you all on the proper technique to improve your chipping. Okay Ethan, let's explain to our viewers today on a couple key tips on how to improve the chipping. I find with my students, and even you could probably say the same thing with players that you've played with, I don't think we always hit the right shot, or we actually have the imagination of hitting the shot that's required. So that makes it very tough and very one-dimensional type of chipping. And for the most part, people are getting lucky when they do hit one good. So let's start out with posture. What are we doing? So what is your simple idea? And right now we're on number 15 here at Paradise, so we've got a pretty generous landing spot. We have a bunch of different shots we could play, but in your thought process here, let's say you hit your second shot here. We've got tons of green to work with. We've got a little bit of a slope. What are we trying to hit here? What's your thought here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I got a 56 degree here, a little lower loft.
Okay.
And basically here, a lot of green to work with, and I'm out of the rough here, so I'm just trying to have good contact.
Right.
So I want to set up. Basically, I like to stand up straight.
Okay.
And then tilt a little bit. It's not tilting with the hips, but everything's leaning towards the target. And then from there.
Right, so I'm gonna cut you off for just a sec. So when you say the tilt, I hear a lot of players when they get over that golf ball, they try to tilt their shoulders back even further. Mm-hmm. And do you find that actually forces them to dip down a little bit more?
I would say so,
okay.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we have the proper tilt, but our weight is a little bit more towards that stacked left side.
Absolutely,
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, your second step?
All the weight is on the left foot. And from there, I want this shaft in line with the left arm.
Okay.
So everything's going towards the target. And from there, you just want to.
Perfect. So on this type of shot here, just for example, we're trying to pitch this one a little bit lower and try to use basically all the real estate we can,
for sure,
rather than trying to fly this thing all the way to the pin, right? Because if we try to hit this high in the air and fly it, there's such a small percentage of landing spot here that we're going to get it over that next hump and actually have it trickle down. You might hit that shot, but for the most part, we're either going to hit it too long or too short of that hill, and we're still got a 20-foot putt.
For sure.
That's why we're not making up and downs. Okay, so I want to talk a little quickly about how your body is positioned in relation to where you're aiming. So I'm going to grab an alignment stick here real quick. So go ahead and set up to this, and I just want the viewers at home here just to get a better understanding of where your shoulders, hips, and toes are based on where we're going here. Okay, so we're kind of going, and again, we're kind of aiming a little bit right to kind of play the hill, right?
Yep, just a little right. So the club face should always be at the target or wherever you want to land the ball. Right.
So right now we're aiming out here to the right, but you can see that his body line, his toes, his hips, his shoulders are left of the target to what creates some room to come through. Is that what we're trying to do there?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The more you open up, the more room you're going to have, and it's easier to have that clean contact, that ball first contact.
Right, because we don't want any ground disruption before contact.
Yeah,
we want to clip that ball first, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's see one more there, Ethan. All right, so nice little pitch and runner. I like that. Now, just for argument's sake, let's say we want to play this golf shot a little bit higher in the air. Okay, we're still going to use your 56 degree. We're still going to set up body-wise close to the same, but what are we doing with ball position?
Yep, for sure. I mean, everything's the same. So stacked left in the setup and the weight. Your feet, hips, and shoulders are aimed a little left of the target, but all you want to do is move the ball position up in your stance.
Okay.
And from here, it's really important to keep your weight on that left side as you go through the shot, because
before you hit this, so if you do all your grip and everything, let's say you're stacked, would you find most players when they take their swing back, do you find that they get stuck back here?
Sway.
Right, and then it stays there, and then what happens is this right shoulder ends up dropping like this.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Okay, so we want to make sure, definitely when you're forward in the stance to hit it high, we got to stay stacked.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see one of those there, Ethan. All right. So we got a little bit of a higher approach. As we're finishing here, what about our shoulders? What do we need to do with our shoulders when we come through What's like a key feeling that I want, or that we need to feel when we're pitching the ball? And then not only that, as we're talking about our shoulders, where do we want to finish that golf club to once we make that strike?
Yeah, I mean, with the finish, you want to be, everything's got to finish towards the target.
Right.
So whenever you finish, your club head, your sternum, your belly button, everything, your eyes, everything is going towards the target.
Right.
So with that, I see a lot of people, when they're making impact, their shoulder dips, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And from there, it's hard to keep everything going towards the target.
So when their shoulder dips, would you find that their club face and hands would move more out to the right? They never really clear out to the left side?
For sure, absolutely.
So if a player was behind you, if I was standing behind you right now and you make a really good strike, I should almost see no hands, no arms, nothing from dead behind you,
Exactly,
correct? That
yeah.
means everything stayed in front, everything released to the left side, down your target line.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that'll help with being stacked on the left side too. The lower body should be quiet. It shouldn't be moving around like this.
Right.
Your right foot shouldn't be off the ground too much.
Yeah.
But everything is just stable and to the left.
Okay. So just detail real quick too. So we've got the stack and we've got that finished position. What's really important about the shoulder? So we know we can't dip. So is there something that we can say to ourselves, you know, as we're setting all this stuff up, you know, right before we take that swing back? Is there something we can say to ourselves to say, okay, hey, I'm gonna do all that stuff, but this shoulder here can't dip under the line? Like, how do we get ourselves to feel like we're staying more on top of it and maybe a little bit more level? Like, what are you thinking about when you're coming through?
Absolutely. So it's different for everyone. Everyone has different feels, but I like to feel this, my sternum is covering the golf ball.
Sure.
In a sense. So whether it's your sternum, your belly button, or if you want to feel like this right shoulder is high,
Right.
that's a good feeling too.
So if you go back to your backswing real quick, so when you say covered, we don't want this to essentially move this way, right?
Exactly.
If
yeah.
that moves that
Yeah.
way, we got nowhere for that club
Yeah,
to go.
then you're
All right,
toast.
so pop back in there properly there. So when you're staying a little bit more level, perfect. So now this is going to move more at this
way.
angle rather than back here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again,
sure.
that feeling you're thinking is staying a little bit more covered, a little bit more on top of it to get that release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. Well, let's see one more. So let's go
sure.
through that process.
Same thing. Step into the shot. Everything stacked on the left. Ball positions back for this one. From there, keeping that sternum over the ball with the right shoulder high.
Perfect.
From there.
Pretty good clip, right? We're not going to get
Pretty
any danger with those.
Yeah.
You got a chance to make par. You got a chance
sure.
to get that up and down.
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah,
Ethan,
for
I
sure.
thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate
Thanks,
all
Jay.
that information.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you all for watching episode 4 of Frame Your Game in Paradise Canyon. I hope Ethan and I gave you a better understanding on how important it is to understand what you're supposed to be doing when chipping and pitching the golf ball. I want to give a quick shout out to our main sponsors, Stranville Living, Two Guys Pizza, and Epiphany Group Lethbridge. Thank you guys for all of your support, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one.